Chapter 5. Your most important tool. When it comes down to it, the only tools a leader has are words, ideas, and actions. Therefore, communication is your single most important tool as a leader. Mastering the skill of communication is a lifelong endeavor for the lovable leader to continually pursue. The functions of communication. Your communication determines your team's capacity for success. There are three essential functions of communication: to inform, to influence, and to inspire. Your capacity with these three functions exists on a spectrum that begin with misinformation, incapacitation, and demotivation, respectively. When you master the art of communication to inform, influence, and inspire, you will be more effective, create environments for collaboration, and readily move everyone in the same direction. Imagine this spectrum, where on one side, you have misinform and confuse, and on the other side, inform. On one side, you have subordinate, incapacitate, where on the other, you influence. And on one side, you'd have demotivate, while on the other side, inspire. Your success as a leader will depend on where your communication exists on these spectrums. So let's briefly review all three functions before moving into an approach for mastering communication. Inform. As a leader, your job is to ensure that your team has all the information they need to do their jobs effectively. However, you'll be effective at informing someone only if the message is received and accurately understood. This means that you need to understand how each member of your team best receives information. Do they prefer an email so that they have a record to fall back on? Are they the type that prefers a 5-minute face-to-face conversation? Do they need a quick whiteboard session to process information visually? A simple way to know the answer is to just ask each person. Communicating in their preferred modes respects the various ways people process information. By adhering to their preferences, you also remove a potential excuse and place yourself in a better position if a team member is underperforming and you have to talk about it. More on this in Chapter 9. The second part of effectively delivering information is to make it clear. Being misunderstood wastes everyone's time. It is all too easy to believe that the email you just wrote is perfectly lucid, but reread it at least once, even out loud to yourself, to be doubly sure. Ensuring clarity in your communications is vital, but fostering an environment in which your team feels safe asking for clarification is even more important. Influence. Despite what some may think, influence is not the same thing as manipulation. While both involve attempting to modify people's behavior, manipulation is doing it solely for your own benefit, and often using stress and coercion to remove people's ability to make choices in order to achieve those ends. Influencing your team can range from light course correction to full-scale moving people from complete inaction to action. Ethically influencing your team requires that you do it for a common, aligned purpose. Be honest about your intentions and not resort to trickery or deception. Make sure the other person always has a choice. A lifelong commitment to learning the art of influence will help you in virtually every area of your life. In marketing and sales, you must persuade people of the value of your solution over a competing option. As a friend, you may find yourself rallying a group to pick a dinner or restaurant, or one person to help move a couch into your apartment. As a leader, you often need to align multiple people with a single goal, are responsible for organizing and inspiring action, and may have tense conflicts to resolve. You are also responsible for ensuring that your team learns how to inspire action and resolve conflicts. Learning how to influence people and modeling for your team how to be more influential in communication are both vital to your success. To take a deep dive with this, I recommend reading both Influence and Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. Inspire. Shallow forms of inspiration take the form of motivational posters and quotes shared on social media platforms. Although these are easy to find, consume, and understand, they are ephemeral at best. Powerful and long-lasting inspiration has to come from a deep desire to change something. The secret to inspiration is quite simple. Find something that has profound meaning and importance to someone. Create a compelling and clear vision of how to accomplish or attain that something, ideally presented as a story. Be as committed as they are to seeing that vision come true by continually stoking the flames of excitement. Imagine you're a startup with a customer relations management, CRM, built for small businesses. You're not just trying to grow revenue by 25% this year. You're on a mission to continually increase each team member's salary by helping 4,000 new small businesses grow this year with your easy-to-use CRM. You're not going to dig in and push harder this year than ever before. You're a scrappy team, tightly bound together by a single idea, changing the lives of millions of small business owners. You work hard during the day and rest at night, so your clients can do the same thing. Your small business customers are your moms and dads, sisters and brothers, and hardworking people all across this country who need a partner that is working exclusively for them. That's you. You're not just going to check the numbers and hold weekly accountability meetings to check the numbers. You're supporting one another every day and ringing a giant cowbell every time a new business signs up for an annual plan. You're building a knowledge base to share best practices. You're reading customer stories at the weekly stand-up, making sure everyone remembers who you're working to help. Inspiration is active. It requires maintenance. There are far too many distractions in life to hold on to anything that doesn't carry deep significance. As a leader, your ability to inspire your team will determine their tenacity at work. Communication can be your most effective tool, so be extremely thoughtful about it. The responsibility of your role requires you to be the most considerate about your choice of words and tone. You set the example of how the team communicates. Communication mastery. If you were to travel half the distance between 2 points over and over again, you would never reach your destination. Similarly, the pursuit of communications mastery is a journey that will last a lifetime. While you'll eventually become an extraordinary communicator if you pursue this path, you'll never be flawless, just consistently better and more effective. Communication mastery is about increasing the likelihood that the intent of what you say is the same as what the recipient understands. If you intend to inform, did the person understand? If you intend to influence, was action taken? If you intend to inspire, did you inspire? Furthermore, if your communication reflects you, is it an accurate reflection of who you have set out to be? Does your communication mirror your values? Is your communication helping you accomplish your personal goals and organizational goals? Let's review some of the frameworks you'll need to become a master of communication. Think in terms of signals. Everything you do is a signal to your team. Your reactions set their expectations about how you will react in the future. Your words today create a picture in their mind about what you will say tomorrow. Your actions alert them to your values and how you see your role on the team, because everything is a signal. You don't gossip. You don't lose your temper. You are careful of how you talk to team members and clients. You are careful of how you treat people who are not on your team. The example you set for your team shapes your culture. So get in the habit of examining your behavior and asking yourself, what am I signaling? Think about the type of culture you want to cultivate. Consider how you want people to talk to one another. Reflect on how you want people to relate to their role. Then, examine the signals you send to make sure your behaviors are conducive to your desired outcomes. Pursue clarity. Honesty is essential to building trust, which is essential to clarity. As you know by now, the Lovable Leader model adheres to a strict code of honesty, without exception. Honest and kind communication is the model. Clarity also involves being specific and comprehensive. As I touched on earlier, by being highly detailed in what you say and spending the time to ensure that what you've said was received as you intended it, you reduce the likelihood of errors or misunderstandings. If people trust what you are saying in the first place, they will take your words at face value, rather than second-guessing the meaning behind them. If you create an expectation of honesty and ensure complete understanding of your team members, you will have the conditions necessary to inspire people, manage conflict, create accountability, and accomplish your goals. Holding others accountable for your own shortcomings in communication is unfair. If someone does not understand what you say or interpret what you say as you mean it, the communication breakdown is your mistake, not theirs. Ideally, they would take ownership. Ideally, they would ask follow-up questions so that they understand what you mean. Ideally, they would discuss it with you if trust needs to be repaired. However, none of that is under your control. You can control only how much ownership you take over the clarity of your communication. If you send the right signals to your team, build the trust so that they can take you at face value, and then communicate clearly and explicitly, you have created a culture in which people take ownership and accountability to pick up the slack in areas where you will inevitably fall short. But it is always your responsibility and burden to go the extra step to ensure you are clear. A leader who leads by example is trustworthy, and is both clear and kind is rare in this world. For anyone who has had even a few managers, you will stand out from the crowd if you do these things. It may sound like a lot of emotional labor, but once you build this habit, your relationships with your team will be stronger. You will deal with fewer misunderstandings, and you will breed the sort of loyalty that most managers can't even imagine. Lovable Leader's Cheat Sheet. To master the art of communication as a leader, I will remember the 3 functions of communication: inform, influence, inspire. Set an example for how the team communicates. Be cognizant of the signals my communication sends.